Trey Gunn. So nice to meet you.
Awesome to be here. We're both in
Yay.
sunny places.
Yes, we are. So you're in New Mexico, is that right? Or Phoenix?
I live in New Mexico, but we're in Phoenix. Tonight's the first night of the tour, so we're in Phoenix at the Rhythm Room.
Excellent. So you're in Phoenix, and it's the new record is Tu Ner for Lovers.
Correct.
Yes, and gosh, I love this record. I listened to it on the drive the other day. I did a 5 hour drive, and I was listening to the whole record, and it's perfect driving music. And
Probably is. Yeah.
yeah, it really is. And I'm just curious. So what inspired this new record?
Well, we're it's a very strange band. We're we have material, uh, compositions, and we also do this kind of extreme improvisation. And
Mhm.
the project actually began at Pat, the drummer's studio, where we just went in for 2 days and improvised for 2 days straight, which was the first record, Contact Information.
Mm.
And for that record, we did um, a little bit of overdubbing, but it wasn't like we massaged the material that much. We just played for hours and hours and hours, and then decided on we're going to use this, we're going to use that. That was the first record.
Wow.
In our shows, only about a third of the show is improvised like this. The rest of it is compositions by me or Marcus or from Pat's history, or we play several King Crimson pieces that Pat and I performed and co-wrote with the Big Crimson.
Yeah.
But for this record, Tuner for Lovers, these are the improvised bits in the live shows from our East Coast tour last year.
Okay.
So this was all live stuff. No overdubs, just, we like this show from Detroit. Okay, this one came from, and as I remember in the artwork, I think AJ put in there, this came from the Beach Ballroom in Ohio. This came from Shank Hall in Milwaukee, and so it, what inspired the record? Pretty much, we listen. Like, you never know when you do this kind of improvising, because it's not in any traditional way of improvising. It's just open and free. You never know whether it's going to be good or not,
Mm.
and you don't. What's also is fascinating about this record, because we love it too, and we don't love all the improvs equally. Certainly when we're doing them, we never really know if it's working.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think it's really great and you listen back to the tapes and it's like, meh. And what's strange about this record is there were quite a few takes from um, some shows where we felt like the improvs really weren't very good while we were doing them. But going back and listening to the tapes and kind of cleaning up the sound a little bit, it was like, oh, this is a great performance. So the record just kind of came from listening to the stuff and deciding, oh, this is actually cool.
Wow, that is really cool and really inspiring. And so the guitar, did you play some of your custom wars on that or
Yeah. So I have a custom 10-string instrument, which is 5 bass strings and 5 guitar strings, and it's all played by tapping.
okay.
And then Marcus has an 8-string custom guitar that he designed, um, that goes into the bass range and up in the guitar register. And that's why
Gotcha.
you can't tell what's going on. Nobody can tell what's going on, because we're using synthesizers and processing, and I've got a vocoder, and sometimes he's soloing, sometimes I'm in the bass, sometimes he's making loops and textures, sometimes Pat's making loops and textures, because he's got a lot of electronics, and it's just kind of a sonic free for all.
Oh, it really is. I was trying to pick out some of the licks, and then I realized that there's no way, and that you use a fifth bass tuning as well, which you got into
Yeah,
later. I was
yeah.
kind of doing a deep dive, and I heard that you were kind of coming out with this more bluesy stuff when you were in the fourth bass guitar, and it didn't really relate to your voice.
Correct. I for a long time was uh, I had a kind of an instinct that how you said it is really great. Like, there's when I was playing traditional guitar tuning, there was always this kind of blues flavor in it.
Mhm.
And love it. It's great, but it just doesn't quite suit me. And
Mm.
I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I came across this instrument called the Chapman stick, that the bass side is tuned like a cello. And I thought, I wonder if that is something for me. And then when I met Robert Fripp, he had just started using a fifth bass tuning, and I put that on my guitar, and I was like, oh, this is the issue. That the regular guitar tuning in the fourths, it has I don't know, it has this blues flavor just embedded in it. And sure, you can play blues on a mandolin or a violin or a cello, kind of, but it's
Yeah.
not the same. It's just, it doesn't have the same grit. And so now ever since I put that on my instrument, I've never played fourths again, and I love it. It's there's some particular challenges to it that
Yeah.
the other doesn't have, but I like what it opens up for me.
So what do you think that the challenges are, or like what is kind of that difference in like sound sonically between a fifth and a fourth bass instrument?
It's, well, you can't, there's several things going on. Let's see how I can tackle that question. It's a deep question, actually. For one, the tuning is um, it's more in it's more organic in terms of the overtone series. The
Mhm.
fourth is a very strange interval and actually doesn't even appear in the overtone series.
Right.
Uh, and the fifth is the first overtone in the overtone series. So, so in a certain way, there's something more organic on the instrument. You, you, the kind of, you can't do close voicings like piano type voicings or
Mhm.
type voicings. You kind of make these wider voicings. So if you want to play and I know we're getting into the weeds here, but if you want to play like a major triad, you have to find a voicing that's very, very wide and open. And I love that. Also, one of the things that kind of embedded into how Marcus and I play is we don't play positions like
Uh-huh.
traditional guitar. We move constantly. So I might just play, and you'll see Marcus doing this probably more than me, but well, about the same. Uh, I might just play one string. I just stick to one string when I'm soloing. So
Wow.
there's no positions like you're holding the third position with guitar and going around. We play the whole string. Of course, we have both hands on the string.
Mhm.
Uh,
Wow.
so yeah, yeah. You need,
Wow.
it's quite different.
That's so fascinating. It was a great answer to that question. Thank you for that. And then last weeds in the weeds question, and then we're gonna get close to wrapping up because I know you got to go load in for the gig in a little bit. But does this have anything to do with the George Russell Lydian chromatic concept, or is there any?
No, I mean,
No.
yeah, I mean, not specifically. And that's an awesome text that you bring that up, because that's kind of a division text between lots of different people, but it's very much like more deep in the jazz world, which I have worked on, and but I'm also not a real jazz player either.
Mhm.
Uh, but but you and I haven't read his whole book, but it is interesting because when you this is really in the weeds. When you go up the overtone series, the first mode that you get is a Lydian overtone mode. So the sharp four and the flat seven. And Marcus and I have talked about this quite a bit. Like why isn't that our normal? Why is the major scale what we
Right.
call our music on? Why isn't it this? And Marcus has a deeper answer than I do, but sometimes I like to just kind of explore that scale because um, it's half familiar and half strange. So
Wow. Well, thank you for that. For
yeah,
humoring me with that is really cool.
he
I
must
feel
be
the
a
same
guitar
way.
player.
Yes, I'm a total guitar player. Got it right here. And yeah, I studied jazz in school, but I'm totally fascinated with the whole idea of what you just alluded to, which is why don't we, use the major scales a little strange, and the fourth is an interesting interval, and the fifth is more aligned with nature, kind of as you as already said, being the
Yeah,
first interval in the series. So really, really cool. I'm sure we could go super deep on that, but I do want to focus on your tour. You're playing 2 dates of the Baked Potato in LA, which is
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, and I didn't realize until just a couple of weeks ago. I forgot that we played 2 shows each night, so it's actually 4 shows over 2 days. And
Wow.
Pat and Marcus have played there quite a bit with Tony Levin and Stickman. I
Mhm.
I played haven't played there since early 2000s when I played there with my band, the Trey Gunn band, and it's a cool, strange, super intimate gig.
Yeah, and so that's why you're doing 2 nights because I'm sure they're both sold out. So
Hope so. I haven't
yeah,
checked.
cool. Well, we'll post this interview before then, so build a little
Awesome.
buzz. And I saw on your Instagram, which is awesome. I love the art there, by the way. Is that you have Tu Ner playing cards?
Yeah, I just got those. We were just talking about them. It's something I'm really into. I'm really into card and card magic and card manipulation. I got into it to um, just to deal with kind of stresses in my fingers and challenge my hands to different things. And uh, we were talking with Pat's wife about making some tuner kind of big oracle cards with sayings from us, and it got a little too complicated to do it for this tour. But the playing cards, we I did make two different sets, and they're and I because I'm really into cards, I tried to make nice ones. Like a lot of the stuff you find at at the national parks or whatever, they're a little papery, but these are nice linen, and yeah, it's fun.
Wow. And so people can grab that at the show.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
cards, we got posters, we got T-shirts, we got music, we got drum heads, we got drumsticks.
oh, that's
Uh,
so exciting. What cool
yeah,
merch. Wow. And so you're going up to Eugene. I saw you're playing at the Wow Hall. That's gonna be
yep,
cool.
yep.
Nice, nice.
I used
That's
to play when I used to live in Eugene.
oh,
That's
really?
where I
Me
went
too.
to college. Yeah,
That's where I went to college. You went to U of O?
I did.
Okay. I guess I
Probably much
didn't.
more before you, but I played at the Walhall all the time, actually, in the
Awesome.
early '80s when it
Early
was.
80s
Yeah, yeah.
when it was what?
Oh, it was just it was the kind of the punk the punk scene really hit there because the LA punk scene because of there's no gig between like San Francisco and Portland except for
Yeah.
Eugene. So we got all the Bad Brains and Black Flag and Circle Jerks and Romeo Void and all these bands came through and they all played at the Wow Hall.
Oh, cool. And then you were there in the mosh
And
pit.
yeah, yeah,
That's really, really cool. So were you influenced by any of that punk rock music or?
yeah, yeah. At the time, more I'm more of an Iggy fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I was in a punk band at the same time as I was studying classical composition at the university. That's
Oh,
how I did,
awesome.
that's how I did my schizophrenia back then.
Got you. And the classical guitar teacher, was it David Case back then too?
No, no,
Okay.
no. And actually back then, I know, I'm sure, and I know it's changed. Guitar was just barely acceptable.
Yeah.
Barely. I took like a couple of jazz lessons with the guy, and classical guitar was never that great, not great for me. So I studied composition. I just wanted to study and learn stuff. I didn't really need to know um, how to. I mean, classical guitar is really tough to do it
Yeah.
well, and that's not for me either.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, just one or two more questions here. So I'm so excited about Tuner for Lovers, the new record, and I'm excited about your tour. And after the tour, what are the plans? Are you going to keep touring, do a world tour? Are you going to make another record or?
We're all amazingly busy. Marcus lives in Berlin and he's doing film music there and
Mhm.
has projects there. Pat lives in Austin. He's building a studio and doing a lot of touring work. And I have a record label and doing a lot of recording. So I don't know what the next tuner plan is, but we all have ongoing tons of projects.
Got you. And your record label is 7D, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I love it. I love the stuff that you're doing with 7D. And was that it? Were you inspired to start that just because you just wanted to put out your own music and?
Sort of. I've been doing it for about 18 years now, and have kind of got grandfathered into a distributor across the states, and I started doing it for myself, and then um, just lots of my friends kind of jumped on board because I have um, the infrastructure kind of set up to make it work. And now I have a partner out in the East Bay who's helping me, and so we put out. It's a very specialized label. We kind of put out mid-career people who are really innovating the language. And there's a new record by Michael Shreve, who was a drummer for Santana at Woodstock, and we put out the Tu Ner stuff. And kind of any of my friends who are to want to get involved with it, we'll usually put out the stuff.
Awesome. Well, I'm just so excited for your show. I'll be there at the Baked Potato, and I'll come say hi at the merch table. And
Which show do you know yet?
Say it again.
Do you know yet?
The second one.
Okay.
So that would be on the I believe the 12th, May 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So I'm really excited, and you got a bunch of great. You're playing in Mill Valley on May 14th at Sweetwater Hall, great venue. May 16th in Stockton at Hagen Museum. You got May 18th in Arcata at the Playhouse. Love that venue. Back to Wow Hall, back to the stomping grounds. Do you have any old friends in Eugene that'll be coming out, do you think?
Maybe. A lot of people have dispersed, but I know a couple. There.
Excellent. And you're in Portland on May 22nd at the Alberta Abbey, May 23rd in Seattle at the Triple Door, Vashon Island on May 25th, Vancouver, BC, May 26th, and then it finishes up in Redding, California on May 30th. What a cool West Coast.
No, that show fell through. We're not doing that show.
Oh, did? Okay.
Yeah, that must have been earlier. So we finished in Vancouver.
What a great West Coast tour.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. Well, I just really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for telling me a little bit about your music today.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Let's stop recording.